Hi there, my name's Colin and this is the Action Figure Resource video channel, the place for all your action figure news, reviews, tutorials and guides. If this is your first time to my channel, welcome. I hope you enjoy the videos here. Today I'm going to be taking a look at the 10 weirdest G.I. Joe figures ever released. If you don't agree with my choices, let me know which you think are the weirdest G.I. Joe figures ever released in the comments below. But before we get into that, please take a few seconds to subscribe below, smash that like button and click on the bell icon to be informed of all my future videos. When you click on the bell icon, make sure you select all in the drop down menu so you get notification whenever I upload a new video. Also check out the description below to find links to the best action figure guide on the internet. This database has more than 60,000 individually listed action figures, giving information on their release date, manufacturer, accessories, rarity and values. You'll also find links to my Facebook channel and website, as well as the International Comic Con database.
ActionFigureResource.com. Yesterday's toys, today's treasures.
The G.I. Joe figure was the idea of toy creator and licensing agent Stan Weston, who first came up with the plan of a toy soldier or action figure based on the hit TV series The Lieutenant in 1963. He then brought the idea up with Don Levine, the CEO of toy manufacturer Hasbro Co. The development of the G.I. Joe line of plastic figurines also led to the coining of the popular and now common term action figure. This term was chosen to make the toy more appealing to young boys rather than marketing them as dolls, which was perceived as too girly. Thus, in 1964, Hasbro launched the G.I. Joe figures line of military-themed 12-inch articulated action figures, which featured changeable clothes with various uniforms and accessories to suit different purposes. Over the last 60 years, the basic story and size of the G.I. Joe action figure has changed a lot, from the original 12-inch doll to the more standard 3 3/4 inch action figures, right to the fairly new 6-inch scale recently introduced by Hasbro. As a result, there have been many really weird toys released along the way. Today, I'm going to be taking a look at my top 10 weirdest G.I. Joe figures ever released. During the waning days of the original A Real American Hero line, there were certainly quite a few strange, odd and weird figures released. This line ran from the early 80s into the late 90s. The first one I'm going to look at today at number 10 is the Extreme Lieutenant Stone figure, released in 1996. The massively popular A Real American Hero line gradually fell into decline in the early 90s. In order to breathe new life into the concept, Hasbro took some cues from the extreme heroes of popular comics of the period and released a new line of G.I. Joe Extreme figures, which resulted in one of the weirdest action figures in any of the G.I. Joe eras, and this was the Lieutenant Stone figure. The new 5-inch scale figure was essentially a statue, frozen in a dynamic pose with shreds of clothing trailing off him. Stone was an instantly dated figure and the line didn't last long at all. Mint on the card, the Lieutenant Stone figure sells for between $12.99 and $19.99, and loose he sells for between $7 and $15. At number 9, we have The Fridge, released in 1986. G.I. Joe was hugely popular in the 1980s, with an iconic toy line, comic book, animated series, and even a feature film. It was a cultural behemoth that started to cross over with other major elements of 80s culture, sports being a prime example of this. The Fridge was a curious feature of the Real Action Heroes line, based on the Chicago Bears defensive player William Refrigerator Perry. The Fridge was a mail-away figure that collectors could get by sending in proofs of purchase, as was the Sergeant Slaughter and later Rocky Balboa figures. The Fridge was not available on a card, but came in a plastic baggie. Mint in the baggie with the accessories, this sells for between $100 and $305. The loose figure on its own sells for between $9.99 and $89.99 with all the accessories. At number 8 is the Captain Gridiron figure, released in 1990. The Captain came armed with a virtual arsenal, including a missile launcher and 4 detachable missiles. He debuted in 1990, towards the end of the original Real American Hero line of figures. He shared some visual elements of the General Hawk figure, one of G.I. Joe's best leaders. But like many of the figures and toys later in the line, it was over-designed and very gimmicky. Mint on the card, this sells for between $35 and $250. Loose, he sells for between $9.95 and $35. At number 7, we have probably one of the weirdest and most unusual of all the accessories released for the G.I. Joe figure line. And this is the Life Ring, released in 1964. The basic idea between the original line of G.I. Joe figures, released in the 1960s, was to sell the action figures and then packs of the accessories for them separately. But at times this went to comical levels, and this Life Ring is a prime example of this. Hasbro sold a single packed life preserver on a shrink-wrapped card in the 60s, making it one of the most oddball choices for accessories, which generally came in groups. The Life Ring was intended for use with the Navy sailor figure, one of the earliest of the original Joes, though it could have been used with any of them. Mint on the card, the Life Ring sells for between $70 and $89.99, and loose for between $9.99 and $19.99. At number 6 is the Battlecopter, released in 1991. The Battlecopter was a good example of how weird things got towards the end of the Real American Heroes line. During this period, Hasbro released many oddball and silly vehicles to populate the ranks of the G.I. Joe line, but the Battlecopter was probably one of the oddest of them all. This was essentially a backpack for major altitude, the pilot, but it was effectively a full-sized helicopter without the enclosed cockpit. How or why any soldier would want to carry this around in a combat zone is beyond me, and quite frankly, the whole thing was poorly thought out and designed. Mint on the card, this sells for between $35 and $120. Loose, it sells for between $3.99 and $49.99. Sorry to interrupt the video, I just wanted to take a few seconds to let you know about the new AFR action figure database. This database is the biggest collection of action figures on the internet, with more than 60,000 individually listed action figures dating from 1964 up to the present day. Each listing includes release dates, accessories, rarity, values, and who manufactured them. To find out more, click here or see the link in the description box below. Number 5 is the Armor Bot. After the astronomical success of the Real American Hero line in the 1980s, the line started to segment in the 90s. Many different concepts were developed to keep the brand fresh, including the Star Brigade. The Star Brigade's line of toys was intended for space battles and included the Armor Bot, one of the strangest toys in the line. This was an enormous robot-looking figure that also came with a General Hawk figure. The Armor Bot looked similar to one of Iron Man's most powerful armors. This massive armored figure had its legs connected at the feet, making it very hard to operate, especially in space. Mint in the box, this sells for between $102 and $269. Loose, the Armor Bot on its own sells for between $25 and $120, whereas the General Hawk figure sells for between $9.99 and $14.49. One of the most inexplicable figures released in the G.I. Joe line was the Ice Cream Soldier, which comes in at number 4 on my list. The Ice Cream Soldier was released in 1994. He carried a flamethrower, making his nickname even more peculiar and unusual. Even the file card, which traditionally filled in some blanks for fans, did not help matters or explain his nickname in any way. The bright day-glow orange and yellow colours of this figure were emblematic of the period and was one of the last figures to be released in the line, as part of the Battle Core assortment in 1994. Mint on the card, this figure sells for between $51 and $120. Loose, it sells for between $8 and $49.99. And number 3 is the Hammerhead, which was another inexplicable vehicle that was released towards the end of the Real American Heroes line. And it was also featured in the G.I. Joe animated series as well as the Marvel comic book. Released in 1991, this vehicle took logic and threw it at the wall. This toy effectively crammed all of the Cobra's existing vehicles into one. The vehicle featured a helicopter and jet pods that were attached to the larger Hammerhead vehicle. It was a slightly amphibious craft as well as a sled reminiscent to Sartan's sled. It was a confusing mishmash of ideas and concepts that showed how desperate things were getting towards the end of the line. I could only find one example of these that had been recently sold mint in the box, and this sold for $610. Loose, it can go for anywhere between $39.99 and $227.50. The penultimate, or number 2 release on my list, is the Cobra Flight Pod, which was similar in style and design to the earlier Battlecopter. The Cobra Flight Pod was also affectionately known as the Trouble Bubble and didn't really obey any logic either. This vehicle was essentially a gun attached to a jetpack with a semi-enclosed cockpit. As often featured, the Cobra Commander, the infamous Cobra leader, flying the machine. The flight pod was introduced in 1985 at the height of the Real American Hero line. It didn't come with the pilot as many of the other vehicles did, so it could be flown by any of the Cobra characters. Mint in a box, This sells for between $39.99 and $102.50. Loose, it sells for between $14.42 and $99.99. By 1993, the original Real American Hero line had fragmented into a variety of sublines to try to revitalize the line. These sublines included Echo Warriors, a Street Fighter crossover line, and the Star Brigade line. All of these sublines were very far from the original G.I. Joe concept, but perhaps none more so than the Robo Joe line, which comes number 1 on my list. The Robo Joe figure was basically a cyborg in a mech suit, similar to that featured in the RoboCop movie. Despite its waning popularity in the late 1990s and the decline of the Real American Hero line, the whole concept of G.I. Joe was rebranded, refreshed and re-released in the early 2000s and emerged stronger and more popular than ever, with new movies, new cartoons and a new comic book, and it remains a popular cornerstone of the Hasbro portfolio to this day. Mint on a card, the Robo Joe figure sells for between $14.99 and $29.99 and loose for between $3 and $23.77. Don't forget to let me know what your top 10 weirdest G.I. Joe figures are in the comments below. Please note that all the prices mentioned in this video are for informational purposes only and are not an offer or solicitation to buy any at these prices. When researching this video, I checked several online and offline retail and auction sites in order to find the most accurate and up-to-date prices for you. However, these prices can vary considerably depending on the condition of the figure and whether they come with their accessories or not. To get more accurate prices, check out my video on how to grade and value your figures. Don't forget to check out the description section below to find links to the best action figure guide on the internet that has more than 60,000 individually listed action figures, giving information on their release dates, manufacture, accessories and rarity, etc. You'll also find links to my Facebook channel, my free website and my Instagram channel. Please take a few seconds to subscribe below, smash the like button and click on the bell icon to be informed of all my future videos. When you hit the bell icon, don't forget to select all on the drop down menu to make sure you get a notification whenever I upload a new video. And check out the other videos on my playlist here.
ActionFigureResource.com. Yesterday's toys, today's treasures.